All right. So, it, technology worked today, and here we are again for another interview in Employee to Entrepreneur Society. I am thrilled to have my guest, Aziz. Aziz. Sorry, I do that all the time. It's the way I like to pronounce it. I apologize. Tony Aziz, who is a business leadership advisor. And what that means is that he helps other small business owners find ways to become more successful in their business. And I know firsthand because Tony has also, I work with Tony myself. He's great. And he's going to tell us today how he went from employee to entrepreneur, and also give us some tips for our businesses. So welcome, Tony.
Great. Well, thank you, Kim. Nice to be here. Good morning, everyone, if there actually are everyone there.
Yes. Tony, this is a great group of people in this Facebook group that have all come from some sort of employment or job and now either have started an entrepreneur adventure, business, or they want to, or they have one on the side. So what I love telling people about is, and inspiring them with, is stories from other entrepreneurs. So tell us, you spent a great deal of time in the corporate world as an employee. You were an employee for many years with large corporations such as General Electric and Sharp Electronics. Tell us about that, a little bit about that and what you did.
Well, thanks, Kim. My corporate career spanned about 35 years. Started out of school with General Electric. Started at the bottom. I think they were looking for somebody to start at the bottom and stay there, but I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So I worked my way through, spent about 10 years with GE in various positions, mostly sales and marketing. Left there, went to Sharp, moved around a little bit, actually worked for GE for 4 times, and ended my corporate career there 35 years after starting with them. And I learned an awful lot through over the years. You know, they say that you could work someplace 35 years and have 1 year of experience 35 times, or you can actually develop 35 years of experience and expertise, and hopefully I did the latter.
Right.
It was a great training ground, but it was only all a training ground for what I do now.
Right. And so tell us, what made you make this transition, like to help other business owners? And
one day I realized I just wasn't having fun. All of us have to look forward to getting out of bed in the morning. You know, if you don't look forward to going to work or doing whatever it is you do, then you're doing the wrong thing. And it dawned on me one day, I'd been 6 years in in that role. I was a senior VP with a GE subsidiary. Wasn't having fun. It was become mundane, so I decided I wanted to do something else. And I really didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew I had to do something.
So you didn't have this like long-term plan that you were going to do this?
No, I didn't. You know, as somebody who guides small business owners and very focused on plans, actually there was a plan involved because it was a 6-month departure plan that we put together. But it wasn't something that I had sat down with 10 years earlier and said, you know, when I get to the right point, I want to take what I've learned and use it to help others. It was just one day I just wasn't happy, wasn't enjoying myself, and thought life is too short to continue doing that.
Right.
So I started looking around at what could I do. And fortunately, I had developed a skill set and developed knowledge from my years with GE and the progressive experience, and found that there was a huge population of small business owners, that most of them had a technical skill, but really didn't know a lot about running a business, didn't understand all the aspects of it. You know, it's not my terminology, but I think it's a great one. They say that as a small business owner, you're a CEO, you're the chief everything officer. So you have to know the numbers, you have to know the marketing, you have to know the product, you have to know your competition. There's so much that small business owners need to focus on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's so true.
well, and it is. But most people are focused on what they do with their technical skill. You know, if you're a photographer, well, and people ask you, what do you do? I'm a photographer. Well, no, you're not. You're a business owner first. Sorry, you might hear kids in the background. We have our daughter, son-in-law, and two of our grandkids are staying with us while their house is in renovation. And 2- and 3-year-olds are not really good at being told, hey, be quiet. Someone's on a Skype call. So.
And you know what? That's totally okay, because most of us are, you know, we have to adjust to this. Entrepreneurs work from home, work in coffee shops. So I think we're all used to it. So don't apologize.
All right. No.
uh,
So anyway, there's so much that a small business owner needs to do, and I try to give them a big picture because my background was as a business generalist. I've ran businesses for General Electric, and you can't be focused just on what your technical skill is. You have to see yourself, first of all, as a business owner and run a business, not be a photographer, be a plumber, or whatever it is your technical skill might be.
Right. And I think that, you know, that was probably one of the things that was the biggest shock when I started a business, because I actually thought that I knew a few things because I had worked in corporate for so long, but you don't realize how much support that you have had. People doing other things that you didn't have to take care of. And you really take that for granted. So coming out and starting a business and thinking that you can do it all without help is probably not the best route.
And I agree. And I'll tell you, even my transition, and although I had run businesses corporately, it's very different as you become an entrepreneur. You know, I had to learn what my clients now learn. That transition is very difficult. You have accountability when you're in the corporate world. If you have a good manager, you know what the expectations are, you're getting feedback, you're getting the tools to do the job, and you know that if you don't get the job done properly, your chances of raises, promotions, or even continued employment are jeopardized. You don't have that situation as a small business owner. There is no accountability. There is no one, you can let yourself off the hook. I mean, small business owners, it's so easy to let ourselves off the hook.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I had to learn in doing the transition, because where I had a team that I could rely on before, it was now me. And I had to develop new habits in order to be able to help the clients that I help. And,
so I love the fact that you're admitting that, you know, you didn't know everything either.
Absolutely not.
And you came from an organization and you ran big departments. So I think a lot of people beat themselves up thinking, you know, I should know more, I should be better, and I should be able to do it on my own.
Yes, absolutely. And they shouldn't beat themselves up.
Right.
Just be aware that there is help, and you need help. I mean, quite frankly, we all need help. We need accountability. We need community. Right. We need support. In my role today, every one of my clients really has a different need of my services. So if somebody needs guidance on strategy, then that's where I focus on. If they're looking for someone to bounce ideas off of, then that's who I am for them. It's having that flexibility. So small business owners and people moving from the corporate world or from being an employee to an entrepreneur only need to recognize, you know, they say you don't know what you don't know. You have to figure out what you don't know.
Yeah.
You have to find the right help to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, what would you say if you were meeting somebody that was planning on starting their own business, had a job at the time, but was making that transition? What would be the number one things that you would say that they need to look after right away?
I think the first question I would ask them is why.
Right.
What is their why? We all need to have a why. There's in order to succeed with a small business, there's really two aspects of it. There's who you are and how you behave, and then the other aspect is what business strategies and skills and actions are you going to take. And it starts with who you are. Why are you doing what you want to do? How passionate are you about it? What are your goals? What do you consider to be success? Everybody's goals should be different. They are.
Right.
And I have no right, and none of us have any right to tell someone else what their goals should be. Each individual, but you have to know what your goals are when you start. And if it's just to make money, that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
How much money? What is it you want to do with that money? What are the other aspects? Because there's so much more to what we do than the revenue that we earn.
Right.
Although it is pretty important. So there's what are the goals? What are the passions? Why do you want to do it? And then the other side is what skill set do you have? What need do you fill or can you fill for a potential client? Who is your target client? That's where you talk to Kim. She helps you with that. But who is your target client? What are their needs and how are you going to help them accomplish whatever their goals are? Really important. And what skill sets do you have and which ones are you lacking?
Right.
So you can't go into this with tunnel vision. You really need to have your eyes wide open. And that's not to scare people from doing it, but it's to help them be successful when they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So can I ask you, what was your why when you started your own business? Because you didn't have to.
No, I didn't. I started out, I think my why has changed, and that's okay too, by the way.
Yeah.
At least it did for me, therefore I say it's okay. I started off wanting to do something and using a skill set that I had. I'll tell you a story that Kim has probably heard, but I started off joining an organization called Action Coach. I was a franchisee. I took their coaching training. I thought that adding that to my business background would make me a good fit for smaller business owners. My focus at the time was on little larger businesses. Realized that they were not the people I wanted to work with. And through my B&I chapter and looking at the people in the chapter, I realized that there was a large population of small business and solopreneurs that generally could not afford the help that was available through business coaches because they wanted way too much money. Yet these people needed help and couldn't afford to get it anywhere. And so I said, okay, that is going to be my target market.
Right.
I modified the programs. I used to meet people face-to-face. Now I meet most of them on Skype or Zoom. I shortened the sessions, reduced the cost significantly so it was affordable for people. And now my why is really the success of my clients. I meet with my clients once a week. And my challenge to myself is to get off that call and be able to say, I helped that person today.
Right.
So that's where my why comes from. That's what drives me, is seeing the success of the people I work with.
Nice. Yeah.
So maybe I live through their success. I'm not sure, but if it's providing value to others, then it works for me.
Right. And yeah, it's kind of like having your team. It's like a team of people or community. It community is better.
Yeah, it has a community, and again, as Kim knows, we do a quarterly event. We didn't this time, obviously, because of we didn't do it at the end of March because of the current pandemic situation, but normally my group of clients would come together once a quarter. We would work as a team, do a workshop, create our own individual 90-day plans. So this community has developed amongst my clients as well. And actually do a lot of business between each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually that's a great event. And one of the biggest things that I probably didn't do in the beginning, which was to my detriment, was to actually have those plans and those goals, even the like short ones. I used to think, okay, maybe a year, but actually breaking them down was really invaluable.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Kim. Having a plan, starting with goals, having step-by-step plans to get there is key. And you know, as they say, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. Well, how do you grow your business to success? You do that one step at a time. So you create milestone goals. You know, I believe in 90-day goals. So create an action plan. Where do I want to be in 90 days towards my longer term objectives? And what do I need to do to get there? And I think that's great advice for any business owner. Then you need the discipline or the accountability. If you don't have the personal discipline, and most of us don't, but you need to be accountable for those results.
Yeah.
And you know, it sounds somewhat mundane and unexciting, but it works.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you accomplish your goals, then what is more rewarding than that?
Yeah. And the other thing that I really think that everybody needs to think about is, and the one thing that I got from getting coaching with you is the accountability. It's as a solopreneur or somebody with a small team, you're the one, you're at the top, and you really don't have to answer to anybody. So if you don't do something, so what? I mean, you know, usually there's a reaction to that that's not positive, but if you have somebody that's watching out who you've said you're going to do this, and they're saying, did you, it really sort of helps you. I have those weeks when I meet with Tony and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to speak to him because I didn't get my stuff done, but it certainly helps me to get it done. So just having somebody, and it can be anybody, you know, like it doesn't have to be, you know, somebody that you pay. It could be somebody that, you know, is a mentor to you or something like that. You know, just having that person, you know, some people have a mastermind group or something like that. That's just some sort of accountability, I think, is so key in this, so that you're not just dangling out there, you know, making your own timelines and schedules and changing those.
And most of us learn that the hard way.
Yes,
We let ourselves off the hook for a while, and then we get tired of not succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start asking ourselves, okay, how can I do it better? Now, one thing I will add to what Kim said there, and she gave some great examples of good accountability partners. I really don't encourage anyone to use someone that they're emotionally involved with. Your life partner is not a good choice.
Right.
Your father, your brother, your sister, they will let you off the hook. You have to have somebody who you're not emotionally connected to, and their only focus is on helping you succeed at what it is you want to succeed at.
That's a great point. Yeah, I guess I wasn't even thinking family. I was thinking, because I've had, you know, other people in the same industry or similar types of target audience that, you know, you come together and help each other out. But yeah, that's a very good point, because you're right. If it's somebody that's your friend or whatever, they want, you know, to do something fun, they're not going to be pushing you to get something done.
Absolutely. One thing, Kim, I would like to touch on before sometime this morning is the current situation for most small business owners, and what is the survival plan?
Yes, and that is perfect. This is a perfect segue right into that. I think this is a very important thing to talk about. So let's jump right in. And how can people look at their businesses now, Tony? People that are struggling, what should they be thinking about doing?
I think the guidance that I've been giving to my clients is, and first of all, recognize that people are in all different types of businesses. Some will thrive during this difficult times. Some will suffer immensely. Some will continue somewhat status quo. No matter which of those positions you're in, you need to have a survival plan. I think we need to have two plans. One is the shorter term survival plan. And if we look at the big picture, we're in the tunnel right now. Now there is light at the end of the tunnel. We are going to come out of this situation. The thing I can't tell you, and I don't think anybody can tell us, is that in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, or 24 months, we don't know how long this tunnel is. We need to have a survival plan while we're in the tunnel. And we need to have a plan for our businesses as we exit the tunnel. So let me focus a little bit on the first one. Okay. Survival plan obviously means how do you put food on the table? Right. How do you look after your family, your dependents, if you have them, and other responsibilities that you have. So there's a financial side. There's beyond the financial side. We know that there are some shortages in stores. Are they going to increase? I'm not a proponent of hoarding by any means. I do believe that there is a possibility that our supply chain will suffer before it gets stronger. If more employees in the supply chain catch the virus and have to go off work, then we may see some shortages. My belief is that we should be prepared and say, I think I need a month's worth of food.
Right.
I need to know how I could get through a month. I don't think we need to look at 6 months. Again, I don't know, but I would say 1 month if you can do it for 4 weeks. So you need to look at that. You also need to look at, and this one's really key, is the mental health. How do you stay positive, and how do you keep the people that are dependent upon you positive? If you've got younger kids, how do you keep them engaged when they can't play with their friends?
Yeah. How
do you keep them entertained? What resources are available online? Where can you get them out and get them exercise? How do you minimize the suffering or the challenges that they go through? And how do you do that for yourself and your partners? Where do you find some satisfaction, some pleasure? That's really, really important. So there's the mental side. And by the way, one of the things that I learned as I got into the business that I'm in now is small business owners need to have a very strong discipline and mental commitment to what it is they're doing. They can't afford to get down. When you're in the corporate world, you've got your accountability, you've got your phone. You can't go down. If you get down and aren't performing, you're going to lose the job, or you're not going to get the promotions or raises, as I mentioned earlier. When you're on your own, you have to have mental focus. When I got into this business and coming out of the corporate world, I thought I would be spending most of my time, at least 95% of it, focusing on business strategy and business skills. And what I learned was, each week when I talked to my clients, the first thing I had to find out is where they were at mentally. Were they up and moving forward? Were they suffering because they'd had challenges and didn't have anybody to talk to about it? So I had to adjust, and I had learned to adjust my discussions with them based on where they're at. That's not something you do as an employee. So as you become an entrepreneur, you've got to be very, very aware of that. You can't let yourself slip. Right. So what are the activities? Are you getting the physical activity? Are you getting the mental challenges? Are you positive? Are you focused? Do you accept responsibility for your situation? We can't sit back and blame others. It's really easy.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we are solely responsible for our results. And we have to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
So having that short-term plan is about mental health, having the food to eat, caring for others around us. How are we going to survive while we're in the tunnel?
Right.
And the next part of the plan is we need another plan as well. When we come out of the tunnel, what's going to have changed in this world? People's habits will have changed. If people are buying online now, or people are not shaking hands or not standing close to each other, are we all of a sudden going to start doing that again or changing back to the way we were? The answer is no, we won't. So people's habits will be changed. Perhaps their need for your product or service will have changed as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to do to adapt your product or service to the needs of your client or customer when we come out of that tunnel?
Yeah.
Now, none of us have a magic crystal ball to know what those changes are going to be, but we can anticipate some of them. If you're bricks and mortar and you're doing a little bit online, well, you better expect that your clients are going to be continuing to do more business online. Unless they have a personal relationship with you, and even if they do, they're still going to be trained to do more online business.
Right.
They're going to be trained to different needs and wants.
Yeah.
They're also going to come out of this quite possibly with less money than they went in. You know, a lot of people, I've forgotten how many we've had nationally apply for EI in the last couple of weeks. We're going to see people who are coming out of this with not the same level of disposable income. So how do we modify our product and service to meet the needs of those people? And every business is going to be different. So, but that's a plan that business owners need now. And by the way, that preparing for that will also help keep us focused and keep us mentally stronger as well, I think. Because we're anticipating and we're preparing something. We're building towards a future. And that's
interesting. I just want to interject what I have been thinking is there is probably going to be an influx of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I have a feeling that there will be companies that have had to downsize and will have to remain downsized for a while, and other people are going to have to find different ways to support themselves. So I think there's going to be a lot more entrepreneurs.
I think you're absolutely right. There will be. There will also be people with skills who are looking for jobs. Can you hire or contract out some work to someone else?
Yeah, and people may have to also think about short-term work in contracts. So as entrepreneurs, maybe it will end up being a good thing for us, as we'll be able to have more people that we can access with experience that we can use on a short-term basis. So that could be a benefit, and also give other people some work during that time. So I think we've seen over a long period of time before this, even corporate jobs are not the same. People don't stay in corporate jobs for 25 years anymore. Now I think it's just even it's going to be even more like that, where people have to take care of themselves and have they are the business.
They are, and there will be a lot of them. I think you're absolutely right. There will be more entrepreneurs. Some will succeed. Sadly, many will not. But for the people who are entrepreneurs today or thinking about it, and if they have the right plans when we come out of this tunnel, and they're able to survive as we're in the tunnel, these are the ones who are going to be able to capitalize on the opportunities in the market and also utilize people who are looking for work.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a lot of opportunity out of this. And if we sit back and think that we're defeated, then we are. If we sit back and say, okay, the world is going to change. I'm going to survive in this world. I'm going to determine what I think is going to be the best outcome for me. use other resources, talk to people you know who can provide you with input, bring it in, and then create a plan to be successful when you come out.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be way ahead of everyone else because most people will not do that.
Yeah, and I think that's so key. Like, you can't just sit around and say, I'll wait to see what happens. Start planning it, start thinking about it. Be proactive. Be proactive. You know, and if somebody has sort of side business or something that they're thinking about, this is a great time to start planning it.
Yes.
And, you know, putting it into action. You might not be able to, you know, actually get monetary gain from it yet, but there's so much you can do to plan ahead and start to think about, you know, who you can sell your services or your products to, or who's going to need it. How is it going to be needed later? Just like you said, if the world is different, how is it going to affect what I'd like to provide as a service or a product?
Right.
So, but yeah, this has been great, Tony. I really appreciate it. And I know that your calendar is pretty filled up. You're not looking for new clients, but if somebody wanted to reach out and connect with you, I will put in your email, or what would you like? How would you like to be connected?
Probably the email is best.
Okay. Okay. So I will put that.
Anybody who does reach out, I will certainly respond to them.
Yeah, yeah, great. That would be fantastic. And I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. I know it's hard when you have a house full of family and everybody's trying to get your attention. So thank you for spending the time with us this morning.
Oh, thank you, Kim. I hope it was helpful.
Oh, it was great.
Good.
So have a good day, and we'll see you soon.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kim. Bye, everyone.